Hey everyone, welcome to That's Good Denver. I'm your host Chris Romeo, and today I'll be doing the 2023 MLB playoff predictions as the regular season for the MLB just came to an end yesterday, with every single team in the league finishing their season. And I know I have not done recaps for the Broncos games the last like 3 weeks now. I did, just to keep you updated, I did see that the Broncos choked against the Commanders, gave up 70 points against the Dolphins, which was very embarrassing. And we were down 28-7 to the Bears yesterday, but we came back and won, so that was very nice. Um, and sorry if I don't seem very enthusiastic in this video. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. It's like 8 o'clock at night, so as soon as I take my medicine and take some melatonin, will sleep like a baby tonight. But that works out well for this video, I guess, because I'll be doing the MLB playoff predictions, and I know I watched a lot of baseball this year. Like I watched some baseball, kept up with the highlights, even with the Rockies sucking. Um, but I watch baseball, but I don't know a lot of the players. I just watch it for entertainment. I watch it for background noise. So I know some players, obviously. Like I know, you know, Adley Rutschman and Bryce Harper, obviously. But um, yeah. So I'll be doing the MLB playoff predictions, and yeah, and I'll try to get some Broncos recap videos for you guys later this week. I'm also dealing with midterms this week, so it might be hard for me to get all those videos in. But yeah, school comes first, and I'll stop yapping so we can get in the video. So before we get into the playoffs, we first start off with the wild card round. It's the best of three for all the wild card teams that didn't win their division or got a low division seed. Or these are for all the teams that didn't get a first round bye, basically. So you got the Rangers and the Rays playing the best of three series, and it's funny that these two teams play each other this year because both of these teams have had very identical seasons. The Tampa Bay Rays historically started off 14-0 to start the year, and they played really good the first half. Then they kind of cooled off in the second half of the season. That's how the Orioles caught up and won the division. So they didn't end the season that great, but then they strung some wins together to finish the regular season strong and get in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Rangers, same story almost. The Rangers started off very good, winning their division surprisingly. Then, as the second half started, they still playing well. Then, in about August, they went on a really cold stretch, not winning many games, and yeah, then they were able to win some games and hold on to a playoff spot. So this series could go either way. This series of best of three is so tough. Yeah, and the Rays would have home field advantage here, and I think this is going to go to a game three, so that's why I have the Rays winning this series 2-1. I know the Rangers are a very good team. They're like super team with all the money they spent by rebuilding, but the Rays are a home field advantage, and I just feel like the Rays are a little more special this year. Next up, we got the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Minnesota Twins. Since I have the Rays winning on, that means the Rays will play the Orioles in round two. It's hard for me to race with one hand, but alright. Yeah, so the Rays playing the Orioles in round two. So the Blue Jays playing the Twins. The Blue Jays did about as expected. They're in a very tough division, but they're able to play very well to get a playoff spot. And meanwhile, the Twins, they did about as what I expected too. I didn't expect a whole lot from them this year, but they were able to win their division in a terrible division, maybe the worst division in baseball in the AL, and the whatever you call the White Sox and Twins division. Geez, my brain is fried. But yeah, I could see the Twins maybe pulling off an upset because they have home court, but I feel like the Blue Jays are a better team, and they're a better all-around team. The Twins only made it to the playoffs because they won their division, so that's why I have the Blue Jays winning this series 2-1, and they'll move on to the second round. And yeah, I'll be doing a lot of these picks by a grain of salt, basically, because some teams I just don't know any players on. And then that means the Blue Jays will play the Astros in round 2. Then in the NL side of the wild card, you got my old hometown Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Brewers. Yeah, a lot of my friends in Arizona are very happy about the D-backs making it to the playoffs this year. I'm happy too. The D-backs are my team I want to win the World Series, basically, even as a Rockies fan, just because I lived in Arizona for 2 years. D-backs playing the Brewers. D-backs are a young team. They had a very good year. Ketel Marte went off. Christian Walker even had a good season, even though some people think he struggled. And they have a really good offense. The D-backs, their bullpen could use some work in the playoffs, but they have a pretty dang good team, the D-backs do. Severely underrated. Meanwhile, the Brewers, they did about what I expected and make the playoffs, win their division. Christian Yelich is still really good for them, and the Brewers' pitching is absolutely insane. I could see the D-backs forcing a Game 3. I could also see the D-backs winning this one, but the D-backs won't win this series in a blowout just because the Brewers' pitching is just so good. That's why I have the Brewers winning 2-1. This series will also go to a Game 3, and that's why I have the Brewers beating the Diamondbacks, and they'll end the Diamondbacks' Cinderella season, and they'll move on to the second round. And then the Brewers will play the Dodgers in round 2. Last wild card game, you got the Marlins at Phillies. The Marlins, they got a little lucky getting in the playoffs. I think they got in the playoffs because the Cubs kind of choked some games down the stretch. Really, the Chicago Cubs should have this playoff spot rather than the Miami Marlins. Marlins, they got a decent team, I think. They overperformed my expectations going into this year. But they are playing the Philadelphia Phillies, and even though I think Bryce Harper is one of the more rated players in the MLB, I think the Phillies are an all-around better team, and the Phillies are a team you do not want to play in the playoffs because they were barely made it to the playoffs last year, and they made a run all the way to the World Series to play the Astros. So that's why I have the Phillies winning this series easily, 2-0, and they'll have home court. And that means the Phillies will take on the Braves in round 1, or whatever, the ALDS. The Phillies will play the Braves in the ALDS, which would be a rematch of the playoffs from last year. And now we get to the real playoffs, the ALDS. I think ALDS is the best of 5. And after that, it's best of 7. So, best of 5 ALDS between the Rays and Orioles. This would be a great series. Back and forth, I think. The Orioles will have home court advantage. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath between these teams. Rays with a really good year and Orioles with an insanely good year. I saw the Orioles in person this year, and the Orioles can hit. Adley Rutschman for the Orioles is insane. Sorry about the disruption. So the Rays playing the Orioles, and I expect this to go to Game 5. Rays have a really good chance to win this series. So do the Orioles. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath between these teams, these two arch rivals, basically. And yeah, like I said, Adley Rutschman and that whole Orioles lineup is insanely good at hitting. And Adley Rutschman will lead the way, and he has help around him. So Adley Rutschman and a lot of other players that can hit on the Orioles. That's why I have the Orioles winning this series, and they're at home, 3-2. And I have the Orioles punching their ticket to the ALCS. Now the ALDS, between the Blue Jays and Astros, winner of this will play the winner of this series will play the Orioles. Blue Jays, Astros. The Astros should be the clear favorites to win this series too. You know, the Blue Jays are a good team, but the Astros, even though they got Jose Altuve and a good pitching like Justin Verlander, the Astros, you know, are cheaters in a way still. They still are, and it's just insane. Like the past 6 or 7 years, the Astros have been in the World Series at least 5 or 6 times those last 6 or 7 years. So that's why I have the Astros winning this series easily, 3-0. And they'll play the Orioles in the ALCS. Next up, we got the Phillies and Braves. This is a very interesting matchup. The Braves are insane. The Braves got Acuna, Freddie Freeman, or some really good hitters. They're clearly the best regular season team in baseball this year. They're playing the Phillies. This series for the Braves is a trap series all around, I think. The Braves are all around better team, and I do think Bryce Harper, I've already said I think is a little overrated, but I could see the Phillies possibly pulling off an upset. If they do pull off the upset, that would be absolutely insane, but I do have the Braves winning this series 3-1. I just think they're all around a stronger team, and I think the Phillies' run to the World Series might have been a little bit of a fluke last year. So Braves move on, and they will punch their ticket to the ALCS. The ALDS, the Brewers and Dodgers. The Brewers pitching will go to face the Dodgers stacked lineup. They got some really good hitters. Actually, the Dodgers got Freddie Freeman now. He's not on the Braves anymore. See, that's about how much I know about baseball. I don't know much, but I'm doing this from a grain of salt. But anyway, I could see the Brewers honestly pulling off an upset with their pitching, and Christian Yelich is still. I think Christian Yelich is not a bad player. I don't know why everyone hates on him just because he strikes out a lot. Christian Yelich is a great power hitter, and I expect the Brewers to put up a good fight in this series. I'm going to take the Dodgers in this series, but it's going to be close. I think this is going to go to a Game 5, and I would not be surprised if the Brewers pulled off an upset in this series. But I do have the Dodgers winning, and the Dodgers will punch their ticket to the ALCS. Or the NLCS, jeez. Before we get to the NLCS, we got the ALCS between the Houston Astros, who have absolutely dominated the MLB over the last decade, will take on the Orioles, who are an up-and-coming team. And this is going to be an absolutely great series. I expect this to be back and forth. You got Jose Altuve, who's a great hitter and a good team around him, versus Adley Rutschman, another good hitting team. This is going to be a high-scoring series too. I don't expect a lot of pitching success in these series unless Justin Verlander goes crazy. A lot of people probably think the Astros will win this series. I want to say the Orioles, but for how much the Astros have dominated, I just gotta take the Astros here. I'm sorry. I really want to predict the Orioles, but I just don't trust the Orioles in this. The Orioles are a young team, and I just don't trust them against a veteran team, the Astros. So, yeah, hate me all you want, but I have the Astros winning this series in 7 games and punching their ticket back to the World Series, which is kind of disgusting. Then the Dodgers and Braves, the winner of this series, will play the Astros. Uh, the Braves, like I said, they're insane. Acuna is a great hitter. They got a good young team, and they've been insane this year. I could see the Dodgers pulling off an upset because the Dodgers are historically good, but I am taking the Braves here to win in 6 games, 4 games to 2, and they'll punch their ticket to the World Series in a rematch of the World Series from 2 years ago, the Houston Astros and the Atlanta Braves. And here we go, Astros-Braves World Series. Will the Astros win another? The reigning World Series champion Astros will be back in the World Series. Will they win another World Series even though they're cheaters? They're playing the Braves. I don't think the Astros are going to get away with cheating this time. I think the Braves are a really good team. For how good the Braves are, I think they are just quite a bit better than the Astros hitting wise, and the Astros may have the better pitching, but the Braves have the better hitting, and that's why I have the Braves winning this one in dominant fashion because the Astros won't be able to cheat. Braves win the World Series 4 games to 1 over the Houston Astros, and the Atlanta Braves are your 2023 The Atlanta Braves are your 2023 World Series predictions from Chris Romeo to win the World Series. But yeah, that's it. Each series, as you see here, is all close. 3 games to 2, 4 games to 3. And 7-game series there, 6 games, and until the Braves, I just think even if the Orioles would have won this series, I still have the Braves winning this World Series. Even if they're playing the Orioles, I just think the Braves are an all-around better team. Their pitching is okay, but their offense is just insane. But that's my prediction for this 2023 MLB playoff predictions. I'm so glad, even though I'm not as passionate about baseball. I've been wanting to do this for a couple years now, playoff predictions, but I'm glad I finally got to predict the playoffs this year and upload a video. And before I go, so I'll try to get some Broncos recap videos on the YouTube channel. I'm just really busy with school. I had a midterm today and a bunch of homework last night that I was up till 3 in the morning doing, so that's why I'm so tired, and that's why I wasn't 100% on my A game in this YouTube video, because I was, really tired. But yeah, I plan to get some Broncos recap videos for you guys soon, and basketball and hockey will be starting up soon, so I'll be able to do that. But that's it, everybody. I'm Chris Romeo, and that's good Denver.